Okay, so today we're doing something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a deep dive,
Yep.
but not our typical format.
okay.
We're diving deep on Hugo Hamel,
Okay, cool.
but we're not using like a bio or an interview or anything like that.
Oh,
We're
interesting.
going straight to the source,
Straight to the source. I like it. Where are we going?
social media.
Ooh, okay.
We're going to use his own words
I see, yeah.
to really figure out, what makes him tick,
Okay.
his work, his personality,
Yeah,
even, some of the harder things he's gone through.
that's fascinating. You can really learn a lot about somebody from their online presence, especially when there's someone who's as active as Hugo.
Right.
They basically leave this trail of like their thoughts, their experiences, their ups and downs,
Exactly.
all out in the open. It's like getting this unfiltered view of like what it's really like to be in their shoes,
Yeah.
to build a business,
Yeah.
experiment with different tech.
To ride that roller coaster of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who is this Hugo Hamel?
Yeah.
Well, in his bio, he describes himself as
I saw that. Yeah.
a pixel builder since 2005, which I love.
That's great. Yeah.
And then he's all about
Other than that, yeah.
making simple solutions that make business flow.
Mm-hmm.
He's been involved with over 10 startups and tools,
Wow.
which is pretty impressive.
He's clearly a builder,
Yeah.
right? Like that pixel builder thing. I
Right.
mean, come on.
I love it.
It's so evocative. It kind of takes you back, right?
Yeah.
Like thinking about, the early days of the web.
Yeah.
And it really emphasizes his like long history in tech.
Yeah.
Like 2005, that's like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And then you layer on the fact that he's been involved in all these startups, it really shows his drive.
Right.
But what I find really interesting is that it seems like he's kind of moved towards focusing more on business tools now, especially things like email infrastructure and cold emailing, like really practical solutions to problems that businesses face every day.
Yeah. And get this. He's coined a term.
Oh.
He calls himself a vanilla dev.
Vanilla dev. I kind of like that.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
It's him and other developers who really prefer working with the fundamentals.
Oh, yeah.
Core PHP, vanilla JavaScript, jQuery, pure CSS.
Interesting. So kind of like a back to basics approach in this world that's, so obsessed with like the latest framework,
Exactly.
always chasing the shiny new thing.
Yeah.
I think there's something really appealing about that,
Yeah.
that idea of simplicity and control, kind of like the whole no-code movement, right?
Totally.
It's like people wanting to get back to the core of building things without getting bogged down by, all these complicated tools and dependencies.
And he is open to using things like Tailwind CSS, so it's not like
Right.
pure purism.
Yeah, no, it's not about being like dogmatic about it. It's more about being pragmatic, right? Choosing the best tool for the job, whether it's something simple and fundamental or, a more specialized framework.
Totally. And speaking of, challenges,
Yeah.
Hugo's been really, really open about some of the stuff he's been going through,
Oh, yeah, I saw some of those posts.
like getting fired from his own business, right?
Oh,
That's got to be tough.
yeah.
Or applying for like over 170 jobs
Oof, that's rough.
and still struggling to find something.
The job market is tough right now, especially in tech.
Yeah. And then on top of all that,
Yeah.
he had a car accident recently,
Oh, no.
which has caused more financial strain.
It's honestly refreshing to see someone be so open about those struggles,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, can relate to.
Yeah.
The pressure to succeed, the financial ups and downs, the emotional toll it can take.
Totally.
I think it's so valuable when people are willing to share that because it kind of normalizes those experiences, Makes you feel less alone. It creates a space for connection and support,
Right.
which is what I think the whole build in public movement is really all about. And Hugo is very much a part of that.
He is, yeah. And he's transparent about both the wins and the setbacks.
Totally. He's not just sharing the highlight reel.
No.
Yeah.
Like, he was super excited about launching a product that generated sales in 24 hours. But he's also honest about, the times when things haven't gone so well.
It's all part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
The wins, the losses, the lessons learned along the way. And I think that's what makes building in public so compelling is that you get to see the whole picture, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. And he uses his platform to get feedback and advice from his audience. Like, he's actively engaging, asking for help.
That's a key part of it, right? Building in public it's not just about broadcasting your own stuff.
Right.
It's about creating a dialogue, a conversation.
Totally.
It's about being open to feedback, even if it's critical. It's about learning from others. Right.
And, leveraging the collective wisdom of the community.
And one thing that I've really noticed is just how much he experiments with new tools and new technologies.
Oh, totally.
I mean, he's mentioned AI, automation. He's thinking about creating video courses, podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to try things out, to adapt to what's happening, in the tech world.
That's so crucial these days, right? With how
Yeah.
fast everything is changing. I mean,
Wow.
technology is evolving at an unprecedented pace.
Yeah.
The skills that were in demand 5 years ago, they might be completely obsolete now.
Right.
So being able to adapt, to pick up new skills, to experiment with new tools, that's absolutely essential, not just for staying relevant, but for thriving.
It strikes me that he really embodies this idea of lifelong learning.
Yeah. He's not just keeping up with trends, he's actively shaping them.
Right.
And that kind of agility, that willingness to constantly learn and evolve, that's a huge asset in any field. Like he's not just building products and businesses, he's building himself. We've talked about like Vanilla Dev,
Yeah.
but that kind of seems to describe his approach to content creation as well.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It's like back to basics.
Okay.
Authentic.
Oh.
Focused on like really connecting with his audience.
That's a really good point. There is a certain sincerity to his content that you don't always see, especially in the tech space. It's like he's not trying to be someone he's not. He's just being himself, warts and all.
Right.
And that kind of authenticity, it's refreshing,
Yeah.
In a world that often feels so curated and artificial.
Right.
It makes you feel like you're getting a genuine glimpse into his world, into
Yeah.
his process. And
Yeah.
I think that's what really resonates with people.
Okay, so we have this picture of him as a builder, transparent, open about his struggles,
Yeah.
embraces lifelong learning, connects authentically. But what are the actual projects that he's working on?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Because that's where things get really interesting.
Well-
He's got all these different things going on.
It's almost like he's, testing the waters on multiple fronts,
Yeah.
seeing what resonates, what scales, what has the potential to really make an impact. It's a very experimental approach, which I think is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in tech, can learn from.
Exactly.
You don't always have to have all the answers up front.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way to figure things out is to just try things out, see what works, and then iterate from there.
Totally. And some of these projects are just so clever. Like, remember that tool he built? The one that
He's built so many.
it was for Stripe.
Oh,
This,
yeah.
Unsubscribed customers.
Right.
And he just offered to code it for free.
Yeah, because he saw someone struggling with it online, right?
Exactly.
It's such a simple idea, but it's so brilliant, It's like he saw a need and he just immediately jumped in to help. And that's another thing that I really admire about him is his generosity, his willingness to use his skills to make a difference,
Yeah.
even in small ways.
Yeah. And then there's that
What else? Yeah.
passenger load normalizer.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a calculator.
Basically helps you figure out if your weight is above or below the airline's estimate.
Right.
It's so clever.
Right.
It's like he's tapping into this common travel frustration
Yeah.
and offering a practical solution.
It's great. And then big picture stuff, he's been working on this massive media contacts database.
I saw that. Over 1 million journalists and outlets.
Yeah.
That's a huge undertaking.
It's crazy.
That speaks to his ambition,
Yeah.
and his understanding of the value of data. Building a database like that, it takes time, effort, resources. It's not about a quick win. It's about creating something that has long-term value.
Well, yeah. And then there's this inspiration capture designer.
Oh, yeah. It's like
It's like a mood board.
a mood board wireframe hybrid
Yeah.
for web design.
Yeah. And then, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Right.
He's been really open about
Yeah. He's had his fair share of setbacks.
the business partnership that went wrong.
Oh, yeah. The one where he basically got fired from his own company.
Yeah. I mean, and then having to start over.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that, even the most talented and hardworking people, they can face setbacks.
Yeah.
And sometimes, things just don't work out the way you planned.
Right.
But what matters is how you learn from those experiences and how you keep moving forward.
He also talked about how hard it's been to find a new job.
Yeah, after sending out over 170 applications.
Yeah. And even turning down a client
I
because
remember that. because it didn't feel like the right fit.
Yeah.
And then he got criticized for being too picky, which, like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's his career, right?
Exactly. It's his life. And it speaks to his integrity, I think, that he's not just chasing any opportunity that comes his way. He's looking for something that aligns with his values, his goals, his passions. And sometimes that means saying no, even if it means delaying your financial goals. It's about finding the right fit, not just any fit.
And it's not just about work. He's talked about moving to Portugal.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. Beautiful.
The impact the car accident had on, his finances,
Right.
his wife.
Yeah, he seems to really value his relationship.
He does, yeah. It's really sweet, actually.
It is. It's nice to see those glimpses into his personal life,
Yeah.
It reminds you that behind the developer, the entrepreneur, the built-in public advocate, there's a real person there.
Yeah.
With a life, a family, hopes, dreams, challenges. It just adds this whole other layer of depth to his story.
Yeah. And this is just like scratching the surface.
Right.
We haven't even gotten into his thoughts on mental health.
Oh, yeah. He's been pretty open about that, too.
Or the ethics of AI.
Oh, right.
Dealing with unfair refund requests. Or even
Yeah.
like just wanting to make friends in a new country.
It's that willingness to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
to share both the highs and the lows that really makes his story so compelling.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And that by sharing our experiences, we can learn from each other, support each other, and maybe even build something truly meaningful.
So as we move on to the next part of this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want you to think about what resonates most with you about Hugo so far.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that you can, take away from his experiences
Yeah.
and apply to your own life?
It's a question worth pondering because in many ways, I think Hugo's journey reflects the challenges and opportunities that we all face in this, crazy, rapidly changing world.
Totally. So buckle up because we're about to go even deeper into the world of Hugo Hamel.
One thing that really stood out to me going through Hugo's social media was how open he is about his mental health. He talks about feeling burnt out, overwhelmed.
Right.
Even using that term touching grass.
Oh, yeah.
Like the importance of stepping away from the screen, reconnecting with the real world.
That's so important.
Yeah, especially these days, right?
Especially now. Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle. The constant pressure to be productive, to be online, to be connected.
Yeah, and you forget to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
You forget to, breathe.
Yeah, and I think Hugo's honesty about those struggles,
Yeah.
it's a good reminder that it's okay to not be okay all the time.
Right. You don't have to have it all figured out.
Exactly.
And he really emphasizes, having a support network.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
People you can lean on when things get tough.
Yeah, people who get it,
Yeah.
who understand the challenges, the pressures, the ups and downs of, whatever you're going through.
He even talked about how hard it was to make friends after moving to Portugal.
Oh, yeah, I remember that post.
Yeah. Remember that? Where he's just straight up asking,
You want to be my friend? Yeah. Yeah, it was so raw, so vulnerable. I think that really resonated with a lot of people,
Yeah.
Because, deep down, we all crave connection. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you do, where you're from.
Yeah.
We all want to feel like we belong.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes courage to put yourself out there.
Totally.
Admit that you're lonely, that you're looking for friends.
Yeah, to be that vulnerable.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And speaking of putting himself out there, he's been, experimenting with different kinds of content.
Oh, totally.
He's created those short video courses,
Mhm.
offered to do screencasts as a service.
Right?
Even thought about starting a podcast.
It's really cool to see him trying all these different things,
It is.
It shows that he's got this, growth mindset.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to try new things, to fail, to learn from those experiences.
Yeah, to iterate. And he's constantly asking his audience for feedback.
Which is so smart.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about what he thinks is a good idea. It's about what his audience actually wants, what they need.
It's like building that community.
Exactly.
Making sure that you're giving them what they want.
Yeah, and it's a great way to, validate your ideas too,
Yeah.
Get that early feedback before you invest too much time and energy into something that might not resonate.
He also shared this story about a product that he launched on Gumroad
Oh, yeah.
that generated sales within 24 hours,
Wow.
which is, incredible.
That's amazing.
It's such a good example of the power of just doing it.
Just shipping it, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to have the perfect product.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a huge marketing budget.
Right.
You don't even need 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is a good idea
Yeah.
and the willingness to put in the work
Yeah, to get it out there.
to make it happen.
And then he created a bundle of video hooks.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
An intro
To
transition.
help people create viral videos,
Yeah.
right? It's such a smart idea
So smart.
because like short form video is just exploding right now.
Yeah.
It's like the dominant form of content.
Totally.
And he's identified a need, right?
Mm-hmm.
People need help creating engaging content.
Yeah.
So he's created a solution that meets that need.
Yeah, it's like he's ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
And remember that cold email infrastructure masterclass he was working on?
Oh, yeah, the one that he initially planned as a book.
Yeah, but then he switched to a video course.
Right.
Based on feedback from his audience.
I love that he's so responsive to feedback.
I know, it's great.
He's not just like stuck in his own head.
Yeah.
He's actually listening to what people want
Right.
and then adapting his plans accordingly.
Yeah. Which makes you feel like heard,
Totally.
like part of the process.
That's like he's building this together with his audience.
And he's been thinking a lot about the bigger picture stuff too.
Oh, yeah, like what?
The impact of technology,
Hmm.
the ethical considerations of AI,
Right.
like the importance of building systems that benefit humanity.
I think that's so important for people in tech to be thinking about,
Yeah.
It's not just about building cool things.
Mhm.
It's about building things that are responsible, that are sustainable, that make the world a better place.
Totally.
It's refreshing to see someone who's not just focused on, like, the bottom line,
Right.
but who's actually thinking about the long-term consequences of their work.
Yeah, the bigger picture.
But, it's not all, like, lofty ideals and philosophical discussions, right? He also shared that story about dealing with, like, unfair refund requests,
Oh, yeah.
chargeback disputes.
It's the reality of running a business, right?
Really?
You can deal with, difficult customers.
Yeah, people who try to take advantage.
Yeah, it's tough.
And sometimes you just have to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, like when to say no. So we've seen, Hugo's vulnerability, his willingness to experiment, his entrepreneurial spirit, and his commitment to ethical considerations.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's really emerging here is his deep sense of community,
Oh, absolutely.
both online and offline.
Yeah, like remember how we talked about the importance of touching grass,
Yeah.
connecting with people in real life?
Mm-hmm.
It shows that even though he's, deeply immersed in the online world,
Yeah.
he understands the importance of human connection.
That face-to-face interaction.
Exactly.
And he's not just talking about it.
Right.
He's actively seeking it out.
Yeah, whether it's, asking people to be his friend,
Yeah.
engaging with his audience for feedback,
Right.
offering to help others with his coding skills.
It's like he's constantly looking for ways to connect.
Yeah, to build relationships.
And this community aspect extends beyond just personal connections, right?
Right.
He's also part of this larger build-in public movement
Mm-hmm.
where creators and entrepreneurs are sharing their journey.
Openly and transparently.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down the walls,
Yeah.
demystifying the process,
Ah.
creating a more collaborative and supportive environment.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we're all in this together
Mm-hmm.
and that we can learn and grow from each other's experiences.
Totally.
So I guess the question is,
Yeah.
what can we learn from Hugo's approach to community building?
Right. How can we apply these principles to our own lives?
Yeah, whether we're entrepreneurs
Creators?
or just individuals looking to connect with others.
Right.
It's something to think about.
It is. Yeah.
I think one key takeaway is the importance of authenticity.
Yeah. Being yourself.
Hugo's not afraid to show his vulnerabilities,
Mm.
to connect with people on a human level.
And he's not just broadcasting his message, right?
Right.
He's engaging in a two-way dialogue.
Yeah, he's asking for feedback.
Yeah, he's listening.
He's incorporating that feedback into his work.
He's making people feel seen and heard.
Exactly. It's about building genuine relationships.
Yeah.
Not just transactional interaction.
Right. Not just trying to get something.
It's about being present, listening to others, offering support when needed.
And it's about recognizing that community building is an ongoing process, right?
Totally. It's not a one-time event.
Yeah.
It takes effort, consistency, a genuine desire to connect.
It does, yeah.
But the rewards can be immense.
They can?
Not only can we learn and grow from each other,
Hmm.
but we can also find support, inspiration, a sense of belonging.
Yeah, that feeling that you're not alone.
Exactly.
So, as we move into the final part of this deep dive, I want you to keep this idea of community in mind.
Okay.
How can you apply Hugo's approach to your own life.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How can you cultivate a sense of belonging and connection in your own work, in your personal relationships?
That's a question worth exploring.
It is.
And it's a question that I think Hugo himself continues to grapple with as he navigates, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, the challenges of technology, the complexities of life in general.
Right. It's a journey.
It is.
And by studying his journey, I think we can glean some really valuable insights
Yeah.
into how to build a more meaningful and connected life for ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing how much we've learned about Hugo. Right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Just from going through his social media.
I know, right? It's like we've been on this journey with him,
Yeah.
seeing the highs, the lows, the experiments, the setbacks, and just that constant drive to learn and grow and connect.
Totally.
It's really inspiring, actually.
It is.
And it really speaks to the power of this whole building in public thing, It's
Yeah.
not just about transparency, it's about creating this shared experience,
Right.
inviting others to learn and grow alongside you. And Hugo does it in a way that's just so authentic and relatable.
Yeah.
You really feel like you're getting to know the real him,
Yeah. So what does this all mean for you?
Right, for the listener.
Why should you care about Hugo's story?
Well, I think there are a few key takeaways here. First, I think Hugo's journey is a really good reminder that success isn't linear.
Right.
It's not always this straight line from point A to point B. There are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be detours, unexpected challenges.
Yeah. And it's not just about, the technical skills
Right.
or the business smarts. It's about the mindset.
Yeah, the mindset is everything.
That willingness to experiment,
Mhm.
to embrace that lifelong learning, to be open to new ideas.
Those are qualities that are valuable in any field, really.
Totally. And it's also about the human element, right?
Yeah.
Building genuine connections,
Right.
fostering that sense of community, recognizing that we're all in this together.
I think those are the things that really make work and life, more meaningful, more fulfilling, more enjoyable even.
It's interesting, right? We started this deep dive focused on Hugo's social media, but we've kind of ended up exploring these much deeper themes.
Yeah, like resilience, adaptability, the importance of community, the human side of technology.
Right.
It's kind of like you start with this specific topic, but then it just kind of spirals outwards,
Yeah.
revealing all these connections and insights that you might not have expected.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Think about what resonated most with you about Hugo's story. Was it his technical expertise, his entrepreneurial spirit, his openness about his struggles, or maybe his commitment to community?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, hold on to that. Let it inspire you. Embrace your own journey. Experiment, learn, connect, build something meaningful for yourself, for the world.
Well said.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Hugo Hemmel. We hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little bit challenging. And until next time,